I was a huge fan of Super Evil Megacorp. I loved Vainglory. It's what started my passion for mobile gaming and what caused me to make this channel. So it wouldn't even exist without Vainglory, and that's why I was so excited to see Catalyst Black release, which was their second game ever after Vainglory. However, it did not capture my attention like Vainglory once did, and that's why I wanted to make this video delving into the flaws of Catalyst Black and the decline of Super Evil Megacorp as a whole. Don't forget to leave a like, pop a sub, and comment. It really helps me out, and let's get right into it. At the beginning, Super Evil Megacorp was pretty secretive about Catalyst Black. They basically only gave us the title of the game as well as one artwork, and then they left us in the dark for quite a while, until they finally started releasing more updates and information about the game, and describing it as a mixture of PvP and PvE in a battleground shooter format, which really had my attention. And when they first announced this, they actually said that it would be cross-platform with consoles as well as PC, which really piqued my interest because I love cross-platform, cross-progression games. I truly believe that is the future of gaming as a whole, and so it was really cool to see Super Evil Megacorp taking this route. A little while later, they had a closed beta phase, and this is when I was first introduced to Catalyst Black myself, and I got my hands on the game. Immediately, I could tell that this game was no different from Vainglory when it came to its art style and sound design. They were high quality. However, Catalyst Black was a bit more cartoony than Vainglory was. The closed beta that I actually tried was pretty bare bones, with only one game mode that allowed you to experience the PvP and PvE aspect in one mode, as well as a few of the weapons and abilities to equip your character with. So you got a taste test, but that's all it was. I couldn't really grasp the full scope of what Super Evil Megacorp was trying to achieve with Catalyst Black. However, it was just enough to see the potential of this game and the ideas that they were trying to implement. I did not end up playing the beta for too long because of these aforementioned aspects, and I wasn't super impressed, but I expected the game to improve over time because it was an early closed beta phase, so I wasn't too worried, and I still had a little bit of hope. However, the beta lasted forever. I feel like between the alphas and betas of Catalyst Black, it went on for years even, and I feel like a lot of the hype for the game died out within that time frame. Eventually, Catalyst Black finally released on the App Store as well as Android devices, and it did reach quite a bit of the potential that I saw in the beta. However, it did have some problems, and I will address those right now. First and foremost, the monetization system of Catalyst Black was vastly different from Vainglory when Vainglory first released, and it more resembled the talent system that they introduced later on with Vainglory, where you gain copies of things and then you level them up in order to make them more powerful. So certain players might have a more powerful version of the same thing than each other, which is inherently pay to win, and this game is pay to win. There's no doubts about it, and you have to rely on loot boxes to get these copies of things, which just felt so dirty. Admittedly, you could still earn a ton of free stuff by playing the game as a free-to-play player, especially when you compare Catalyst Black with other games that utilize a similar monetization model. However, I expected better from Super Evil Megacorp, and I do believe they could have found a better way to monetize this game. I know why they had to go with a different monetization model from Vainglory, because that ultimately led to Vainglory's demise and being put on life support and maintenance mode because they couldn't make enough money from the game. Another problem I had with Catalyst Black is that the game's balance was super wonky. Certain items and weapons would be extremely overpowered, and it would take weeks, if not months, to get certain things patched and balanced out. And there was never a sweet spot of balance that I personally experienced while playing the game. There was always a certain item that would completely blow the other ones out of the water, and that was quite unfortunate. My last main problem with Catalyst Black is that it got very stale over time, and I think mainly this is due to progression. However, the game did launch with a wide variety of different game modes, and each one felt pretty different from the last, which really impressed me and offered a lot of replayability. My main problem was with your character and the equipables for your character. There wasn't a lot on offer on launch, and there weren't a lot of items and weapons being added to the game frequently. And you had to rely completely on luck to get the new items. You had to open up these different loot boxes that you earn slowly through gameplay. And if you didn't get the new stuff or get what you needed, it just felt very discouraging because you were grinding all this time to get a loot box, you open it up, and then it was worthless. So it just didn't feel good. Also, if you guys didn't know, I actually was a Catalyst Black creator. I was approached by Super Evil Megacorp over Twitter, and they were interested in giving me access to their Discord for only creators and developers to talk. And this is where I experienced a lot of disorganization and a lot of miscommunication between creators and the developers. It seemed like developers would give us information and new information about the game pretty late, right before the game would release the updates, and there wasn't a lot of time for us to create content on the game itself or on the update itself. And it seemed like a lot of our feedback was falling on deaf ears, especially when it came to its monetization system and the balancing of the game overall. It's important to note that Catalyst Black has not been released on any other platforms other than mobile, and Super Evil Megacorp has not addressed this fact at all. They've honestly just carried themselves as if they never announced it to begin with, which is really interesting. Now, keep in mind that these problems that I just mentioned are just my opinions, and I know that there are numerous other problems with Catalyst Black. However, these are the main ones that I experienced and thought of, and I think they directly correlate with the downfall of Catalyst Black. If you look at Catalyst Black now, it has not received new updates in months. I think it's pretty safe to say that Catalyst Black is dead in the water, and it will continue to not receive updates into the future. I'm curious to know if Super Evil Megacorp will address this at some point. However, I haven't really seen anything from them until recently, and they teased that they're working with Netflix. Now, this could be a mobile game for their Netflix mobile gaming service, or it could be a TV show based off of the Vainglory license or the Catalyst Black license, or maybe something completely new. Now, I'm kind of hesitant to have hope or be excited for something, especially after Catalyst Black, but I can't help but wish the best for Super Evil Megacorp at the end of the day because of what they achieved with Vainglory. And that brings me to the question that I want to ask you guys. Do you think Catalyst Black was a good game? What led to its downfall? Do you miss Vainglory? And do you think Super Evil Megacorp has something special in the works with Netflix? Are you hopeful? Are you excited for it? I just want to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's get some discussions going. I'm excited to read them, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and take it easy.